Hello, everyone. My name is Najee Webster or Gigi. I am a community navigator here at IPP, and today I would like to welcome everyone to our Lunch and Learn. Today we will be talking about hope. Hope and collaboration. Hope is a radical act of resistance against systems designed to erase people. And so today we will talk about how we do the work to inspire hope, to keep hope alive, right? And so right now I will introduce myself and then I will introduce our panelists. My name is Najee Webster or Gigi. I'm a community navigator here at IPP. I'm also system impacted. I've served almost about a decade, just about a decade in IDOC. I'm home now and I advocate for women as well as all individuals incarcerated. And so far, I've been home pretty much promoting hope myself because it helps people to believe and see that this can also be real for me. If she can do it, if she can come home and, do the things that she's doing, then I probably can do it too, right? And so that is what I do. So right now I'm going to introduce our panelists. Stanley John Howard, can you tell us a little bit about yourself, please?
My name is Stanley John Howard. I work for Uptown People's Law Center as a prisoner advocate. My old title was a paralegal and prisoner rights advocate, and I've been working there for almost like close to a year now. I'm also system impacted. I've done 39 years of incarceration in the Illinois Department of Correction. I spent 16 years on Illinois death row also, all for crimes that I did not commit. I've been home now for about 16, 17 months, while on the inside, facing death on Illinois death row as a high school dropout. I received my GED. Also, along the way, I taught myself criminal law because I ran into a real bad attorney. As teaching myself criminal law, I ended up having a law class on death row, teaching other guys how to navigate the system and about criminal law also. I guess that was a way of giving guys hope also that they would not be executed. And when I got off of death row in 2003, after being pardoned for that murder case, that crime I didn't commit, I stayed in prison another 20 years, fighting the system to be released. And also, while I was doing that, I also taught many other guys criminal law and worked on many cases also while on death row, knowing that I was a torture survivor, knowing I was tortured to sign a confession to crimes I did not commit. And the course was a knowing I plead for mercy and I plead for justice. I wanted to take the fight to the streets, and this is why I started the movement called the Death Row 10, and that led to much activism on the inside and outside, and led to Governor Ryan pardoning 4 members of the Death Row 10 back in 2003 before he emptied out Death Row. I think my activism and our activism on death row was actually led to Illinois abolishing the death penalty. And since I have been home, I came home hitting the streets. I joined the Chicago Torture Justice Memorial to help build a memorial in honor of the Chicago police torture scandal and for the survivors. And I've been real active in many other organizations, trying to do what I can to somewhat change the corrupt, unjust, and unmerciful laws and policies here in Illinois. And to get out and get this job here at UPLC to be able to continue to do the work that I've been doing for the last 30 some years is almost like a dream job to me. And I actually know what it means for people when they say that they love their job, getting up, going to work every morning is a good thing. I actually love getting up, coming to work here every morning. And I hope by me doing what I'm doing, I hope that is an example to other people that are struggling and probably, don't see no future for themselves, that they could look at me and be inspired to see that they can do things once they are released.
Well, that definitely inspires hope. If don't nobody feel inspired after that, they ain't living. Stanley.
Yes. Yes. And I am glad to be living too because facing death every day on Illinois death row, locked inside of a cell 23, 24 hours a day, facing illegal lynching watching the hangman hang that noose in front of me every day, it was life changing. And I wanted to fight. And I hope that seeing that I was able to fight, let everybody else know they have that same fight within them.
Okay. Well, Fatima, can you tell us a little bit about yourself, please?
Definitely. Thank you, Gigi. It's hard to follow up after Stanley Howard, always. My name is Fatima Montero. I am the Community Engagement Manager at the John Howard Association. I am also system impacted myself. It is 2025, so I've been home 6 years now. Things were pretty challenging. I can say that. I can say that I was one of those people kind of out of sight, out of mind. I didn't know too much about the criminal legal system. It didn't really affect me. I never touched it. So to me, it was all pretty new to me, um, which made me in turn fight my case alone because of the being ashamed and being embarrassed, and nobody around me really understood it. Hope to me means this right here, being able to take our stories, our lived experiences, and use them for good, use them to open people's eyes to the facilities that are in places where we can't see them, right? Let people know that there are, I like to call them myself, honestly, like the forgotten. Like people just forget about individuals that are incarcerated because you can't see them, you can't hear them. Um, so to me, hope is for women and for men in the same, but definitely for women to just have more of a space in this prison reform area. I think women are underappreciated and undervalued. And for me, hope is showing other women and men, but women, that there are women like myself and like Gigi that have taken their experiences and are now really trying to do the work to help other women. So I guess I can say all that to say, um, it can always get better, right? You aren't your worst mistake. And I feel like as long as you have hope, you can get it done.
Yes, I agree. Today, we hope to explore, well, not hope, we are going to explore how hope inspires hope and how we can maintain that inspiration during difficult times, right? So let's get into it, right? We'll start with Fatima. What moment did you recognize that this work is actually all about hope?
Whew. Um, I'm gonna be honest, about 6 months into my role, because I was getting frustrated. I'm just gonna be honest. I was getting really frustrated in like, we're doing this, there's policy that's being passed, there are things that are happening, but nobody's coming home, nobody, things aren't happening maybe in the way that I would envision them. um I had to take a step back and really realize that this type of work isn't work that gets done overnight, and to be able to have a positive attitude and to be able to keep it going and to keep yourself mentally and emotionally in check, and to be able to like keep moving forward on a day-to-day basis, you have to have hope. Because if you don't have hope, I mean, hope to me and faith are the same thing, right? Like, regardless of religious beliefs or anything like that, as long as you have faith in something or faith that things will work out, it's like the same thing for hope for me. So, as long as you have hope that things will work out, and maybe not in my lifetime, maybe not in my children's lifetime, maybe in my grandchildren's lifetime, there's still hope that there will be some sort of systemic change for men and women alike.
Okay, what about you, Stanley?
Read the question so I get a clear understanding of it again. Because I was
Absolutely.
so amazed with my sister's answer.
I said the question was, what moment did you recognize that this work is actually all about hope?
Well, actually watching 12 men walk their last walk on death row and to be executed, exterminated, you know, it gave me a lot of hope that I wouldn't be executed, and to see that I could make a difference in somebody else's life, not only just my life, and to change the system. I mean, that is so inspiring. You know, knowing that I left a lot of guys behind with natural life sentences without the possibility of parole, just to be able to instill some hope in them that we are out here fighting, trying to change things and make things better for them, that gives them that hope, to tell them about the legislation that being put on the table and some of the things that we are trying to change that instill hope and my brothers and sisters that still under this garbage that they call truth and sentencing, knowing that there's an active fight around that, knowing there's an active fight around this garbage that they call murder registry. We are challenging many things on the front. I mean, I could just close my eyes almost like in the blink of an eye 20, 25, 30 years ago. There was nothing like this here that was actually going on. And to see that it's actually happening, that gives me hope. And I hope that it gives other people on the inside hope. So when we do this work, I am positive is a positive example of hope. Now, I also want to mention that I'm an ambassador for the Illinois Prison Project, and to see that you all are training people to fight against the narrative, the crooked narrative about mass incarceration, to be able to speak on it, that is hopeful and inspiring also. And I am also in College Unbound, taking the bachelor course in organizational leadership and change, even at the age of 62. I'm the oldest cohort in the group, and knowing that other people like my little sister Gigi can see that I am still in school trying to get more education. I know that's somewhat inspiring too. So hope is all around me, and I just hope that one day, we could just actually change a lot that need to be changed, and that's the fight.
That was very powerful, Stanley, by the way. And for why is cross collaboration between organizations so vital?
Oh my God. I think cross collaboration is needed for, especially for myself as community engagement at the John Howard. I wouldn't be able to have anything to talk about realistically if it wasn't for other organization being willing to collaborate with us and let us know what they have going on. I've been able to connect with amazing people like these individuals on this call here, and so many other organizations around Chicago that we all have different mission statements and maybe different vision statements, but I think we all have one common goal. And I think we all stand in solidarity with each other and really try to help each other when we can. To me, it's strength in numbers. So if we are collaborating across organizations, we are boosting numbers. We're getting the word out. People will hear us. People will see us. I truly think it's vital. It's very important for this work.
I agree. Stanley?
Yeah, I agree with my sister 100%, Fatima. Whereas, we need to be able to pack a powerful punch. And I would like to go back to the Death Row 10. I could have came out publicly as Stanley Howard in the fight, but I knew that if I brought all the other guys along with me, that would pack a powerful punch. And it's the same thing that's going on out here. We have a lot of different organizations that have sprung up in the last, like I said, the last 25, 30 years. And most recently, like IPP is a really young organization that's out here right now. And to be able to collaborate and work together, like Fatima was just saying, everybody have their own lane, have their own wheelhouse in doing the things that they do, but we all are still working on common goals. And we could come together and assist each other in any way, form, or fashion to be able to help them do what they need to do. That is somewhat really good. And I'm sure that, everybody could agree with me that as long as we could help each other, the better.
Absolutely. So, why would you all say relationships are critical to this work?
I would say relationships are critical to this work because relationships are, to me, the foundation of change. I think if you can create a relationship with a legislator or somebody that is in a position of power to help push the initiative that you're working on, right? I think if somebody, for example, if somebody already has a rapport with Najee, they're going to be more inclined to hear the initiative that Najee and her team are working on. I think having relationships with people can only help you, especially in this work. I've always said this even before this lane of work for myself was if people like me, they'll do what I ask of them. So I think having relationships with people, being good to people, supporting people, even when maybe it has nothing to do with you, right? But just showing support to others, it will always come back tenfold. I believe in good karma. So to me, good karma, good relationships can only help push the work that we're doing.
I agree 1,000%. So much. I know
With
how,
that 100%.
yes, relationships are very critical to this work.
Yeah.
Amy,
I,
what's your take on it?
I'd like to add, I'd like to repeat everything that she just said because it's right on point. But you can also use the example of me and Fatima at the Illinois Prison Project
Yes,
in our
very true.
ambassadorship,
Very true.
whereas
Yeah.
we, you know, as brother and sister, just started a conversation, and that relationship led to us collaborating with her organization, with Restore Justice, with the Chicago Torture Justice Center, and the Illinois Prison Project, coming up with ways on how we could streamline mail that's coming from the inside to let people know on the inside, what we do and what we don't do. So just by the relationship that me and Fatima had, we was able to facilitate this, and there's no telling how far it will go, not just on that line, but many other lines. So to answer your question, relationships are very important.
Very true.
So, in the face of major obstacles, what are some tools like education or art and scholarships that people can use to maintain hope?
I was yeah, I was gonna say, and I think this speaks to all of us, right? I think education is super, super important in this space. To me, I feel like I try to like kind of look at my background, and then I look at all of the education that I've done. And to me, they wash each other. Like, yes, I messed up, but I did this. Yes, I messed up here, but I accomplished this. I messed up here, got this charge, but I did this. To me, it's a way to look at that piece of paper that makes me feel less than and reminds me of like, oh wait, hold on. You accomplished this level. You moved on to level two, level three. And I just think with education, it just opens up doors that your background will close in your face. But I think that when you can approach a situation and say, yes, this is who I used to be on paper, but now this is who I am on paper and this is what I've accomplished. I think anybody would take at least a second chance to at least hear you out. You know what I mean? I just feel like education just pushes you through doors that maybe wouldn't be open for you otherwise.
Stanley, what about you? Do you think that tools like education, art, and scholarships can help people maintain hope?
No doubt about it. Like I mentioned in the beginning of the interview, I was a high school dropout. I dropped out in the ninth grade. But upon entering prison, death row, I received my GED. I received a paralegal certificate. I received a custodial maintenance certificate. I received a certificate in fundamentals of construction, building maintenance of constructions, and business management of construction. And the work do not stop. I love being able to get educated from the Illinois Prison Project, mass incarceration, how to speak against it. And like I just said, I'm also going back to school to further my education. And I just recently was tagged with joining the fight to end solitary confinement, which is another one of my passions, along with bringing a parole system back to Illinois. And if I'm going to participate in ending solitary confinement in Illinois, then that means I got to abreast myself on all the laws and rules and everything that governs that. I already know about the Nelson Mandela rule with the UN, unlock the box, some of the things that goes on with that. So now I'm going to throw myself into actually learning more about a mass incarceration, not only mass incarceration, but also isolation, solitary confinement, isolation, and what governs that. So education is really key because if I didn't teach myself criminal law, I wouldn't have knew anything about how to fight these people. So education teaches you how to fight back.
Can you all share a time that your work actually possibly sparked hope in another person? I can share my example.
Sure.
So day this lady comes up to me. I don't know her. And she tells me she follows me on Facebook. and she was telling me that she's like, I watch everything you do because I post my work on Facebook. And she was like, it makes me, it inspires her. She's like, I have a son that's incarcerated, and I just hope that he can come home and do these things. And it gives me so much hope, in his future when he does come home, because, the stories is always that we come home and we can't find jobs, and we are, a disruption more than a help to the community. And so her seeing my work and seeing the things that I'm doing, she voiced to me that it gave her hope that that this could be possible for her son. And she was grateful for it. And she just told me, she actually asked me to keep posting, which I actually don't like posting on Facebook. So that's the big like kicker to it. Like, I'm doing something I don't really like doing, and it's inspiring hope. And at first I was just posting pictures just because I was like, hey, I did this today. And then it was like, oh, realizing that people are watching me, looking for inspiration and hope, for their current circumstances or whatever, was really inspiring. And so that's part of the reason I even still post on Facebook right now. So can both of you think of a time that your work sparked hope in another person?
Yeah, the most recent speaking engagement, I believe that all three of us did at Heartland College. There was a professor that came up to me afterwards, and she was emotional, like she was crying, and it really took me aback because I was like, "Oh my God, why are you crying?" And but her thing was, "Your story was not what I expected. How is this okay?" Like she was pretty like outraged at like, how were you incarcerated for trying to survive and all of these things. And it was just um to me it gave me hope, right? I don't know if it gave her hope, but to me it gave me hope because I was like, okay, we are hitting the people that we need to hit because these are the people that have never been impacted by the system. And these are the individuals that are teaching the youth and that are teaching the next generation that's coming up what life is, how things are going to be. So to me, to have a professor be so moved by my story, Gigi's story, everybody's story that was on the panel really stood out to me because I was like, wow, like this one professor can just take her opinion or the thoughts that she's put together after the speaking and take that back to 20 plus college students. The idea and how far things can go are just endless to me. I think once you touch somebody, I mean, it just you crave more. Because once I got her to cry, I was like, I want everybody to cry after they hear me speak. That's my goal. Everybody must cry. So yeah, I think that was it for me, is just seeing how our stories inspired others that are not touched by the system.
That that definitely. What about you, Stanley?
Like I said, I taught many guys criminal law on this side and filed many petitions for guys, post-conviction petitions, clemency petitions, and things like that. I even helped a guy get a divorce once. But to be able to go to the University of Chicago, the University of Illinois, and Northwestern to speak to these law students and criminal justice students, and to talk about our life and what their life should be and could be, and going to these different functions around the city of Chicago, talking about who I am and what I've been doing, that's very inspiring. But I have filed many post-conviction petitions and clemency petitions for guys on the inside. But I would like to say it was just one last one. His name is Paco Pinfield. He's 85 years old now. And when I moved into their building when I was in Dixon Correctional Center, I looked and saw a clemency petition that another guy filed on his behalf, and it wasn't done right. And I redid it for him, and he was like so hopeful that he had a chance with the governor of being able to do away with his natural life sentences because I believe he is innocent based on jailhouse informant testimony. And on my way out the door going home, he gave me his watch, and the watch is for me to realize that he don't have much time because he had colon cancer and he don't want to die on the inside. And knowing that he had hope that the governor may even consider granting him clemency. I mean, that's the type of hope that I really like also. Yeah.
Yeah, that's so dope. But then again, I am not surprised that we all have a little fire and a little, I guess, special something in us that just has a way of touching people and touching lives. So, um, anybody has any final thoughts about hope or collaboration or just want to share anything with the people?
Yes, I will say for hope and collaboration, not to toot our own horn, but the Illinois Prison Project Ambassador Program, I've said this to numerous members of the staff, but it really has given me hope in a different way. The collaboration that's been able to come out of that, people just getting to know each other, creating friendships, like Stanley said, like we met through the program, and now we are working with the organizations that we are employed with together and collaborating to make processes easier for individuals on the inside. Um, that probably would have never happened without the ambassador program. So to me, I think having hope also means believing in yourself and throwing yourself into anything that you can and being uncomfortable, because being uncomfortable means you're changing, and that's a good thing. Collaboration also, I think if wouldn't have met these amazing people, I probably wouldn't be the confident person that's speaking here today. I probably would still be shy and timid and afraid. So just kudos to the program and to everybody at IPP for what you all are doing. It's more than just an ambassador program. So yeah, you all give me hope.
Oh, thank you, babe. Stanley.
I don't know about shy and timid. I could never even see you being shy and timid. But I'm gonna let you have that. Let you
Yes,
have
I
that
am.
shit.
But that's how you know that I truly, truly love you guys, because I've let my guard down like completely with everybody. So,
Okay.
but yeah.
You know, I would like to say, since I've been out, seeing so many young people actually taking the lead and being involved in this movement, it's really, really hopeful for me. Because in my lifetime, you see, my mom's generation left my generation with nothing. They called my generation the do nothing generation. Because after Dr. King was shot and killed, it seemed like the movement just stopped. There was no civil rights movement. There was nothing. It was a race to the middle class. I'm gonna get mine. You better get yours. And then came all this, the crack epidemic and all this old garbage that took form. But now to see there's so many people out here, whether or not if it's trying to stop the violence and ceasefire, trying to change the laws, trying to change the sentencing, trying to help people get housing. I mean, you just go up and down the list, and to see that so many young people is involved in this, that is very hopeful for me because I know change is going to come.
I just ask that if you are watching, that you join the movement, right? Like together, let's cultivate hope. I'm sorry. Let's amplify visibility and foster collaboration to build a more just and liberated future. Like we all are here and we've seen what happens when we all collectively come together and do the work. You know, it's something to just show up, but when once we start putting system impacted people in these spaces with policymakers, we could help make policies more inclusive and less harmful for everybody instead of just non-system impacted people, right? Together we can inspire change, uplift those unheard, and build a future rooted in justice and liberation. As we wrap up, remember, hope isn't just a feeling, it's a rebellious act. So let's keep the sparks flying, the ideas flowing, and the hope alive, because change doesn't happen if we sit quietly. Thanks for joining us in this fight, and keep shining that light, because even in the darkest times, a little hope goes a long way. And we also want to encourage you, viewers, to join our sustainer program, Team Hope, please. And we hope that you all have a great day. Bye.
You are amazing.
This month's Lunch and Learn resource that we're highlighting is one of the resources that are actually in our amazing IPP website, which is actually the resource section. If you actually called IPP, and you may have called, well, you may have heard this baritone voice of Vince Morgan. How you doing today, first of all?
I'm great, man. Great.
Great. Could you tell the audience, what do you do at the amazing organization Illinois Prison Project?
Well, I'm the intake coordinator for the Illinois Prison Project. And with that, individuals, loved ones, call IPP, asking for assistance for their loved ones. And in most cases, I give them, I navigate them to our website, which have several resources. The most popular one is our legal clinic, and they could do a legal clinic, fill out the legal clinic form, and request a visit with an attorney on every, I think, first Tuesday of the month or third Saturday of the month. We also have numerous resources in regards to filing a clemency. We have a clemency toolkit, Joe Coleman medical release handbook, and several other resources that individuals may be seeking. We try to provide resources for individuals so they can advocate for themselves in various ways. The men and women in prison, they utilize these resources as well, not the legal clinic, of course, but by way of our community navigators that's incarcerated. They help us provide resources to individuals that's in custody. So that's a way that they could obtain these same resources.
For some reason, if someone did come across a problem, a challenge with navigating the website, is there anyone they can talk to?
Well, of course. I mean, anyone at IPP, if they call me, I could send them a link to the website and walk them through, how to fill out the form for the legal clinic, or how to download documents from the resource center. And yeah, so that I don't think there's anyone at IPP that wouldn't be willing or able to assist an individual that may not be able to navigate our website.
Thank you. Actually, also, you have another resource as well. Myself, as a community navigator, you have the amazing Najee Webster as Gigi, as one of our navigators as well. So if you reach out and call our number, we'll be glad to walk you through it. And if we don't know the answer, we will go to someone that will find the answer and get it back to you. That's our dedication and commitment to you and to our community.